Okay, nerds, so another Squee League today, and we're reverting back to previous sort of builds where we're going to have a main deck snapback, because with all these Sphinxes and these combo decks, I feel like snapback's slightly better positioned than the Furies at the moment for the main deck, and I've come back onto the full 4 Vigor. There's a lot of Urza Saga running around, because Urza Saga sacks quite nicely to Beseech the Mirror. So, yeah, that's the main bit. One snapback and an additional Vigor over the 2 Furies I usually run. The Furies have been demoted back to the sideboard. 2 Caracas and a Ghost Quarter. And then a second Snapback. And 7 Graveyard Hate cards, because there's not too much Graveyard going around at the moment. So we're going to run it through a Vintage League, see how we do. And round 1 is already here. We're up against J Ben, and we've won a die roll. So what a beautiful day. We've got a Bazaar on 7. We've got some easy discards. And hopefully some permission once we've spun this Bazaar. So yeah, a fantastic start really. Let's see what comes off the top here. Not a lot, but we're now safe against a wasteland. We've got our own wasteland. We've got a nice little Squee on the go to try and find a blue card later on, or a green card if that's where we want to go. So yeah, a little bit exposed. Obviously vintage decks are powerful and they can do things quickly, but a nice enough start. They've got a Bazaar of Baghdad of their own, as I said. There's not much graveyard stuff going around at the moment. Good. But we have got the wasteland. So Hollow One. 2 of them. Okay, that's a bit of a ball ache. That's okay. We can recover from this sort of thing. I'm not going to trade with the Vengevine. They can just slot me for 4. That's fine. I've got a Squee. So my Bazaar's looking like the worst card in my hand at the moment, really. So let's activate and try and find a green card. Still no green cards, but let's go Squee. Blazing. We'll cast this one. We'll cast the Hollow One. Oh, you fight Hollow One. Interesting. Cool, bro. And then we'll wasteland you. So they've got 2 cards in hand. They're going to go up to 3 and have a Squee. That's noxious. Sure, that's not great for us. But now they're 1 card in hand. They draw a Squee for the turn. And we're going to have to do some chump blocking. But the longer this game goes, the better it is for us. So we've got 2 Squees and 2 Bazaars now. So I'm going to block the Vengevine with the Hollow One, and I'm going to chump a Hollow One for now here. And the reason I'm chumping the Vengevine is we know that they're holding a Squee, so they're not particularly a lock to get their creature back. Squee, Force of Will. No wasteland, perfect. And now if we draw a green card, then we can just figure their brains out and be done with it, you know. Let's activate this. Let's go red. Let's just go Squee, Vengevine for now. Because I can pick up a Vengevine. But I do want the green card, so we want to try and find another creature if possible. We weren't able to, but we did find another green card. So let's discard our Force of Will. Hold Wasteland for next turn. We get a Vengevine back, which is tasty. And we'll attack for 5. And then upkeep, we're going to blow their 2 Hollow Ones up. We've got an additional Bazaar, so we don't mind punting away the Noxious too much. So ding and ding. Do that before they pick up the cards so they can't go and find blue things. So we know they've got no response to this. And then we'll pass the turn. We're going to kill their Bazaar on their turn. So this is one of their last activations of Bazaar of Baghdad. Triple Squee goes away. Wasteland doesn't matter. And no creatures. So if we could draw a misstep here, or the misstep here, that would be fucking phenomenal. Mind Break Trap's fine. Doesn't really do a lot. And Force of Negation very rarely has any text anyway in this matchup. We'll slay with everything. It's hard for them to bring back 3 Vengines when they've only got 1 at the moment and no Bazaars. So hopefully they go for an upkeep Noxious. They do not. They go for an end step Noxious. Very well played. So they get their Bazaar back, but they are at 3. They get triple Squee though. So yeah, quite the stack, but we're the one with the board at the moment. So let's see what they come with. So that's 1 Root Waller. So that looks like a good stabilizing turn then for them. They're holding a Squee. That's a Hollow one, which is just their second spell of the turn. So that brings the board back stable. And remember, we did cut off Fury as well, so that's concerning. So we got our Squee back. We got our Squee back. So they're on 3 Squees in a Bazaar, which means they're now like leading the Bazaar race. Oh, that's awful. So I'm going to discard some Squeeze. I'm going to attack for 4 with my Vengine. In we go. Just trade off the vines, sure. So we know they're holding Squee and 1 other card. They get 2 of their Squeeze back. And yeah, their Bazaar of Baghdad's now better than mine, and I'm really exposed to a Wasteland this turn. No Wasteland, that's beautiful. No attacks either, that's interesting. Okay. I guess they can't really, can they? If you've not got any creatures to put into play, then attacking there's suicidal. Snapback's kind of cute. But my spells aren't getting through, are they? So I think I want to be snapping back on their turn. Noxious, Noxious. Okay, let's discard 3 Squeeze. We'll pass the turn. So we've got Noxious for Wasteland, Noxious for Bazaar next turn. And something. So they want to pick up a Hollow one. Okay. You get your 3 Squeeze back, and we're going to have... They're picking up a Hollow one, right? Because they're going to try and reanimate their Vengevine. We're going to be able to Noxious Vengevine. They've only got the 1. Sub-Bazaar activation's fine. Noxious Vengevine. So Hollow one. So this Hollow one has to get through, right? I have to let this one through. Okay. Oh, no plays? So if we can land this Snapback, we just win. So Snapback, discarding a Master of Death. Oh, and they've just F6, so we win. Okay, cool. Well, that was nice. Unless they've got Pyrokinesis, of course, actually. Okay, so we win game 1 in the Squee mirror. This is where we get punished because we took out a surgical, but we'll go surgical, surgical, 4 ley lines. We'll bring in the Ghost Quarter as well, and we'll bring in the Furies. And we'll drop the Chalice, and then we'll see how many blue cards we can get rid of. So we'll get rid of all of these. That puts me to 59. I can bring in a Snapback. Obviously Snapback's pretty loose when you've only got the 7 cards. Misstep post board is like your best card. It counters surgical, counters revival. Snapback's proper questionable, but I'm kind of into it. Over the Force. So they're on the play, so that's obviously good for them. I typically don't keep non-bizarre hands because you're a vigor away from death. I'm going to send that away. This hand's great if it gets through right. We'll bottom the Snapback, as we said. It's a disaster, that card. They do have a ley line. That's a shame. We do not have a ley line, but we do have 2 Bazaars. So you've got ley line and Bazaar on 7. What's it like? What on earth is it like? Bazaar, Petrified Field, Serum Powder. Okay. Petrified Field's kind of interesting. I've been off Petrified Field for a while just because it's so slow. Let's play Bazaar. So we'll discard Greenwaller, Vengevine, Vengevine? How bad's that? Greenwaller, Vengevine, Red Lizard? I'm going to draw step surgical their Bazaars. I know that's not great, but it will put them onto 1 Bazaar for the rest of the game. So Green Lizard and Vengevine is very easy. Discarding the Vengevine, the other Vengevine, this one over here on the left, is difficult because it means I don't have a Force of Vigor card. And then discarding the Fury is difficult because we might just die, because they still do have a Bazaar of Baghdad, right? Which makes discarding the Blazing Root Waller difficult as well. We keep the Bazaar because of Wasteland, we keep the Misstep to protect the Surgical. I think I'm just going to discard the Red Lizard and hold the Fury. Yeah. I'm not sure. It's pretty close. I can see discarding Fury. I can see discarding Red Lizard. I can see discarding Vengevine. But with them having access to their graveyard, it's all a bit difficult. So then draw step will surgical your other 3 Bazaars. Okay, you activate it. And we also get to see how they sideboarded, right? I know, just conceded, despite having a ley line. Well, I feel like I'm really far behind, but like I don't have the Wasteland. I'm under a ley line. You're down to 1 Bazaar of Baghdad for the rest of the game, sure, but you just discarded 1 as well. Yeah, okay, fair enough. See you for round 2. Okay, round 2, up against Justin. Played against him a minute ago and he had turn 1 ley line, no other plays. I was on Cradlevine though, so it was good for me. Right now it doesn't look like it would be good for me. I wonder if we get the double dupe. I'll keep this hand. No ley line. Absolutely balling. Bolt of Whispers. I beg your pardon. Okay, you've got an Ornithopter, bro. And a Mox Opal. No thank you. Sensei stop, okay. What the fuck does all of that mean? How far down the well has he gone if we've got Ornithopter in our deck, you know? Vigor? Any of them Vigors around? No. We'll just have to attack for 4 then. We do have Force of Will or Force of Negation up. Should that come up. We've also got Wasteland for an Urza's Saga. The question is, do we force Grease here? And I don't think, no, we can't force Grease here. Hardcast Grease, possibly. Big shame on none of them Vigors. That would have been beautiful. So turn 2, Justin. Mono Black Ornithopter deck. I do look forward to seeing what this one is. I'm going to spin a top. And then the less we do, I think the better for us. Just in terms of like... Last time I saw him was on Cradle, but I don't play my stuff in my Cradle decks, so I wonder if he knows that. Ah, fuck it, I'm just going to play as I would. I'm not going to try and get into leveling up pre-board games. So we'll discard Vengevine and 2 Squeeze. Alright, we could do Vengevine Lizard, Red Squee, and then we'll have double Force Open. Yeah, that's way better. We don't get the Vengevine back, but we do get the double Force. So let's attack twice, attack with the squad, get him for our 5 points of damage. You block the 1/1. That's cool. Wasteland. I'm going to Wasteland you because I think I can race a Saga at this point. And they've conceded. So that was good. Off to game 2, getting some mono black artifacts. I think I want Caracas because I imagine if you're playing mono black in Vintage, you are interested in having Shieldred in your list. Yeah, I think that's going to be the list actually. Maybe another Snapback just in case he's on some Sphinxy stuff. We like Chalice against Opal decks even on the draw. I think a Revival can go, a Squee can go, and then a Red Lizard can go. And then this will be the list that we take into battle versus Mr. Level 1 himself. So yeah, straight and nice. Justin chooses to play first, which is pretty rude. Mulligan's to 6, I'll mulligan as well. Bazaar, Vigor, some stuff. Keep this, bottom the powder. Justin goes to 5. And gets the ley line. Okay. So Underground Sea. Thoughtseize me. I will counter the Thoughtseize because I want to protect this Force of Vigor. Justin's on 2 cards. If we draw a green card, then we'll probably Wasteland. We didn't draw a green card, so we'll play the Bazaar. We'll activate the Bazaar. We'll discard Blazing Force of Will and Wasteland. We'll cast this with Madness, and then I don't believe your Vault of Whispers on the top of the deck runs Force of Will, so I'm going to let him commit another artifact to the yard to the play, or go to his end step. Hopefully we just get something like Saga, Bink it with the trigger on the stack. Oh, pay me. So Saga, Bink it with the trigger on the stack, and then Wasteland your Underground Sea, and wrap it up. And they concede. Very nice. Clean 2-0 there. We'll see you for round 3. Okay, round 3 versus Gratias Potento, which is quite fun. I'm on the play. There's no Bazaars, so I think you'll agree I am very unlucky. So let's go to 6. Hi. We have to file for comp after this league. No Bazaar and 13 cards. It's statistically impossible. So down to 5. And there's a Bazaar. My Kingdom for a hollow one. So I'm probably putting one of these Vengevines back, I bet. Or do I just put a Lizard back and blah blah blah. So 2 cards go back. We want to maintain Force Blue and Bazaar of Baghdad, right? So 2 cards go back. I think Force of Will, Vengevine is the... That's not what I said. Although I don't hate that. Force of Will, Vengevine? Or Vengevine? Or Vengevine Blazing? I think Force of Will, Vengevine. Yeah. Now a hollow one or a lizard brings back a Vengevine, and we've got a Force of Will up for that turn 1 play anyway. So now what? One of these has to go away. I'm going to pitch the Wasteland and play the Chalice. This does lose pretty hard to Wasteland this hand, but we've not really had the opportunity to dick around that, I don't think. This hand also now loses to Bazaar of Baghdad pretty effectively because we discarded our Wasteland. But all of these things are things that we have to accept. You know, we could have played there in a way that loses less hard to Bazaar of Baghdad and discarded the Chalice and... Alright, you're the Thoughtseize. Any art on that Thoughtseize? Oh, good art, nice. So take the Force of Will. And then we draw another one. So that was easy. So we'll attack. Thoughtseize confirmed bugged. Lorien revealed. Grabs another C. And they pass the turn. And they're going to do all of this playing quite heavily around Mindbreak Trap as well. So that's fine though, because it means that... Oh, it's most certainly not. So now we'll do the old upkeep spin, now that we've emptied our hand. I think what's funny about all of this is that I did put a Force of Will on the bottom at the beginning of the game. So that's another lizard. I just think I want wastelands at the moment. That's another lizard. So we'll attack for 1. We'll take our draw step next turn. Obviously we're in a pretty bad spot, right? We've been through all of our interaction. We've not really presented a clock. They've got 5 cards, 2 mana. We're playing vintage. There is a chalice on 0, so that might be doing some amount of work. But who knows? Another Lorien revealed as they pick up their mana. Get another Underground Sea. Cast a Dark Ritual. And just cast a Diabolic Tutor. Cool. So no bargain was available because we've got the chalice, so I think we can assume one of those is a artifact in hand. Let's draw a card here. Mindbreak Trap's pretty dope. Depending on what they're trying to do next turn. I can see something like besieging for a Necro there, right? Like, you're not under a clock. Or maybe an answer to Chalice of the Void. Tolarian Academy. Oh no, is it just over? Just completely over already? Yeah, they got us. Very good. So yeah, so just besiege for the other half and then play them both next turn. Fair play. So what do we want against this stuff? I like snapbacks. I imagine people are bringing in Sphinxes, and I like Caracas. There we go. That's what I like. The Noxious can go against the Beseech decks because they're going to be probably not be on Wastelands. And then we can trim 1 Squee as well because we're not bringing enough Furies. We're just going to rely on the snapbacks and Caracas to clear the path if we need to. Okay, game 2. We've got Permission, we've got Bazaars, we've got Strip Mines. Tidy. This will be a Bazaar pass. On turn 1. So we've only got 1 card we are interested in discarding. See if we can get through turn 1 without playing anything. That's cool. So turn 1 looks like we're going to get Thoughts. Oh no, Dark Ritual. Okay. Soaring's fine. And the One Ring is a little bit less fine. So we'll counter that. And that will get us through. So I'm not going to activate the Bazaar. I'm just going to try and get... Oh, okay, no I will. So Powder, Bazaar. Maybe it's just the other Bazaar, honestly. Wasteland you. We've got a Permission spell up. We've got Strip Mine for the Urza Saga. And then as we get towards Hellbent we can flip our cards, but I just felt like there we were in a decent spot to discard the 2 Bazaars because we don't have any Squeeze going. Vampiric Tutor, okay. You've got it. And it's tough for my hand to improve on the activation, I think, there, because I want the strip mine in hand for the sagas. I want the force of wills in hand for whatever they do. So we're just going to try and get to another draw step, get up to 5 cards and discard the Root Waller along with some other nerds as well later. Depends what they've got here. That's an Urza Saga, so that's fine. And no place. So we'll get our draw step, we'll get our strip mine away. Force of Vigor's the single best card to draw here, but we did not. So let's activate this. Squee. Snapback and, well, I guess Squee. Yeah, Squee, Snapback and Lizard can all go away. And we've now got a Squee going, so that's nice. Let's Wasteland the Saga. We've got one piece of permission. I'm going to fight that. Let's hope their last card isn't Tinker. And we're in that sweaty stage in the game where we've... Oh, no, never mind. DT. I wonder what they DT for here. Needle, sure. That's annoying. Okay. We'll get our Squee back if we draw blue cards and the game keeps going. We're probably quite far behind now. Green card is a good start. Obviously we want to draw one of our Vigors. Now we really need to draw a Vigor right now. And we did not. So that's going to make this game exceptionally tough. We did get a blue card which will protect our Vigor if and when we find one. Underground Sea, sure. They're on one card. If it is Flusterstorm, the game's already over. But that's a Blazing. We can't attack now. Yeah, their hand was just a bit too powerful for us there. Sensei's Top's fine, Mox Pearl's fine. So we're not in a good spot if we're losing to the Saga combo decks. You know, that should be our bread and butter that we eat up. But I will just... Nah, I won't block this turn, I'll block later. Okay. Academy. Hell cost 7. Leyline of the Void. Does that matter at this point in time? So there's a top on top. But then the good thing about countering this is if I draw a Vigor, then I could kill one of those tokens at the same time. Yeah, let's just counter it. This could be a big punt. Because I don't feel like it does much at the moment when I'm already underneath the thingy. Noxious Revival. That also doesn't do anything. It's like if they're floating like top Tinker or something, then we just lost for no reason. See, I think that is a pretty big punt because my Vigor deals with it whenever I draw the Vigor. And once I've got a Vigor, I can quickly put some chumpers in play. But we have to chump block this turn, it is forced. None of the cards on top of our deck have any text. None of the cards we can put on top of our deck have any text. So, and that's not it either. So we lose. See round 3, 4, something like that. Okay, round 4 of this vintage league with Squee. We're up against the Innistrad Rev service. Lol. And we're playing Squee, which, as you know, is bad against combo decks. This hand is the Dream, but we go to 5. Cool. So I'm probably just going to ditch Vigor and Powder here. Keep the Dream alive. Access to a Squee. Access to a Vigor later if I want one. But if I don't draw another Lizard, then it's unlikely that all these cards are making their way to the graveyard, you know? So we always have the green card if we don't put the Vengevine into play. Ancient Tomb, Black Lotus. I don't like where this is going. Mana Crypt. Yep. Mana Vault. Okay. What have you got for us, sir? Tell me about the payoff. Tell me about your payoff. Manifold Key on the Mana Vault. I'll let it happen. It's just going to be a duel. A Nettle Cyst. Okay. Last card in hand. Khan, the Great Creator. That's a bit shit. For me. They get a Grafdigger's Cage. Okay. That's fine. Grafdigger's Cage, the like nut low in graveyard hate against us. We are still going to bink it. I think we're just going to go. I think we're just going to go Cage Nettle Cyst. So if I go Cage Nettle Cyst, and they now have infinite mana. So what if I just go Cage? Or what if I ignore the Cage and just go Nettle Cyst, Manifold Key, Wasteland you? You got no cards in hand. You do have a Khan, which is an issue. But you have a Mana Vault and a Mana Crypt. So yeah, I'm going to do that. So we're going to hit Manifold Key and Nettle Cyst. We'll waste them. And then they need to race their own Mana Crypt and Mana Vault, right? That's going to be the game plan, whilst we continue to do stuff with our graveyard and stuff. We can just Wasteland though, and we can activate later on. And that will give us a better idea of what's going on. Because they're taking, what, 2.5 damage a turn. So you lose that flip. You take 1 now. I don't know what Khan gets in a spot like this. Do they play Coating in the board of these decks? Phyrexian Revoker is, yeah, kind of fine, right? They cast me. I know what you name. I don't think it matters. There are no cards, right? Serum Powder. Hollow One? Hollow One occasionally comes up in these matchups. When you're under a sphere and stuff. Remember, our Vengevine can't come back, and that was a decision we made to restrict the mana. I can see binking the Cage there, but the thing with Cage is it's one... Serum Powder, yeah, cool. The thing with Cage is that it's one of those ones where it only actually hits 4 cards in our deck. Like, if our opponent has access to Tormod Crypt or something there, then that is usually stronger. Just to pop that into play. So see what the Karn activation is. There's a plus on the Grafdigger's Cage. Go on, swing at me, swing at me, swing at me. Oh, free food. Okay, we do block. Is there anything we want to pick up? Could pick up a wasteland. I could pick up a lizard actually. No, let's take our draw step first because we can also pick up the lizard if we like draw another lizard or a hollow one or something. A Mind Break Trap, sure. So let's activate the Bazaar. Let's wish we'd done that. I am just going to play Hollow One. I am going to play my Strip Mine. They're going to take their damage. They lost the flip again. So I wonder what they can do with Karn here. They're going to get something. And they do have another Grafdigger's Cage. Okay, Wasteland's fine. Grafdigger's Cage continues to be unimpressive. I'll get my creatures back. I'll get my Bazaar back. And then we'll pressure the Karn. So, drawing Wasteland there was pretty sick from them. We've now got a Vigor, so we'll hold that. Pressure Karn in case they come up with something else to play with. Oh, Karn's dead. Serum Powder's the bigger threat apparently, which I would question. But opponent losing 3 flips in a row is exactly what we were looking for. And that's a Soul Guide Lantern. Okay. So Soul Guide Lantern's in the main deck, so they probably swap that over post board, I guess. I reckon they bring in more. I don't know. Yeah, Vengevine's not doing anything anyway. Do they want to crack it to draw a card because they're already so far behind? No, they're just going to nuke my yard now. And it's over to me. It's a blue card. So let's activate, attack. Probably not activating Bazaar this turn. So if we can fade this turn, and next turn we'll be able to keep one of these forces with a card of its respective colour, right? They go to 4, they're dead on board actually now. They lose every single flip, that's hilarious. Well done them. And they concede after drawing air. Nice. Cool. Sideboarding against shops. Caracas, Ghost Quarter. We've got the 4 Vigors in now. I guess we want a number of Furies against the... I don't know if this is the slightly more aggressive version or what actually, but Misstep's historically bad. Snapback's weak if we're bringing in Furies. Maybe we're overdoing it on the Furies, maybe just 2 is fine. Caracas and Ghost Quarter are pretty bonkers against the Sagas. I'm going to drop a trap, a negation. I'm going to bring back my negation. I'm going to trim a red lizard and a green lizard. I'll see you in there. Okay, game 2 up against shops. We've got a beautiful 7-carder here. 2 Bazaars, Permission, a potential Vengevine on 1. I don't know what sort of shops we're up against, whether it's the aggro version or like more combo version. I'm not going to fight that because I'm more scared of spheres. So yeah, just continuing to not respect Grafdigger's Cage. I know I've got a Vengevine in hand, but if I want to I can hold it and pitch it to a Vigor to take out their mana. Oh, they've literally just got fuck all. Okay, nice. But like a Sphere of Resistance puts you in the ground with this deck, so it's you know, fighting your battles wherever you want to be. We'll pitch Master Fury. Is that correct, or do we just pitch the Vengevine anyway? I guess just pitching the Vengevine's fine, isn't it? We'll cast a Hollow One, and we're just going to cast the one. Because we've got another Bazaar, we've got all the Master of Deaths. And there's no point in getting both of our Hollow Ones tabernacled. So our opponent missed a land drop, right? So they're on Wastelands or tabs. Or yeah, there you go, there's a Wasteland. Cool. Soulgate Lantern I probably do fight, because I've got 2 Squees going. Annoying that it exiles, because it means I can get it back later, whereas if it's in the graveyard I think it's gone. They've made a land drop. Yeah, cool. We got our 2 Squees back. Mind Break Trap. So we'll play a Bazaar. Lizard and 2 Squees can go. Now that's the question, is do I want to expose everything to the Tabernacle? I guess if I do, then and they Tabernacle me, I get another turn with Bazaar. Yeah, so there's a Tabernacle. But now I get another turn with Bazaar of Baghdad, which is nice. Maybe they would have Tabernacled me anyway. Not sure about how I'm playing this. No. No. Squee's cool. Squee's a nice card. One of my faves. So Squee can go to the yard though, because we can just pick it up in Fury in the future if we need to. So if they have another Wasteland, that's a real issue. If we've been through their one Wasteland and their Tabernacle, then I punted away a Hollow One for no reason. But I'm pretty pleased with my hands up. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with where my hand is at the moment. Mana Crypt. Into an Argentum Master Course. Let's read what this thing does. Right, so do we fight this? Or do we just vigor it later? First strike, protection from multicolored. Okay, I think we just draw towards a vigor. There's the vigor. So we'll activate the Bazaar. Squee and Squee, I believe, is going to be my discards. I am going to play this Chalice of the Void. Is this less than? Less than or equal to? Okay, so that was an awful play. Sorry, I thought it was equal to. So how many hits for 5 are we willing to take here? Why has this all got so big all of a sudden? Leave me alone. So we can take 5. I guess it depends if they come up with a land. Okay, you blow up my Chalice. That doesn't matter, but the play was initially bad. No, I think I've got to vigor it. So I'm going to vigor. Oh, I should have figured in combat. Well, now that we've got this far, there's no point in figuring it, is there? So let's pick up our creatures. Because what I'm just trying to work out is if I can get off a vigor, which takes out all their mana plus a wasteland. But now that we're here, we cannot. Noxious is a nice draw. I've got 9 cards in hand though, so I'm going to put Squee and Fury into the graveyard. Once they've paid, I'm going to blow up the Master Core and the Trap. Or the Crypt, sorry. And it'll be Vigor pitching Vigor in this spot. I know the Mana Crypt is doing the Lord's work for us, but it's a big mana source. We don't really want them to have that. Mox Pearl is fine. Their payoff can get countered. Oh. No, I don't even care, actually. Okay, so we're in a really good spot. We just need to find a threat. I'm only going to pick up one of the blue squeeze for now. We've not drawn a wasteland this whole game. That's a hollow one. So, activate with Bazaar of Baghdad. Discard Vengevine, Squee. And then end step we'll discard a Squee as well. And it's just race to wasteland now, I think, between the two players. Well, their first wasteland is countered, so that's good for me. And then this time I'm just going to pick up the red squeeze, not the blue ones. Just maintaining that life total when I'm basically looking for singleton cards, right? I don't need anything other than a wasteland. That's a Caracas, and that does the same thing. So 3 cards to the bin. We play Caracas. Apparently we'll play a post-combat hollow one. Let's try not to click through it this time. There we go. Gets us back down to 7. No point in going after the Vigor. Or no point in vigoring anything, so we just want to maintain our Bazaar as long as possible. And if they've not got anything here, then I presume we will win. I would like my squeeze back though, because I am going to activate. I don't know what I'm drawing to here. My hand's already busted. So draw step, another Caracas. Let's discard Bazaar. No, let's discard Caracas, Squee. I can play a Bazaar. I can attack for 4 and then put a lizard into play for no real reason. I guess I've got a trump blocker. So there we go, over to the opponent. And there we go, we win. I'm not sure what's going on in this league where we're losing to combo and beating shops, but we'll take the ones we can get. Okay, 5th and final round, we're up against Garland. We are on the play again. We've got no Bazaars. We do have a Bazaar. We've got a Vigor. We've got some blue cards. We've got 2 definite discards. We've got Noxious as a second Bazaar at Baghdad. So that's pretty sick. Oh no, I have to get rid of a card. Bollocks. They begin the game with 7. I'm going to pitch the Vigor. That might be wrong. Well, or at least with more information of an opponent, that might be wrong. But I think keeping blue card, second Bazaar, and Vengevine Root Wallet is perfectly acceptable as a game plan. There we go. I'm gonna discard the Vigor as well. And then we'll play the hollow one. We've got good cards. Obviously there's some exposure to things like Urza's Saga here, but I think mitigating against non-creature spells in general and Wasteland is going to get us further into this game. So that's a Volcanic Island, which is fine. It's another Noxious Revival, so if we need to we can Noxious back a Vigor and Vigor them, but for now we'll just attack them for 9 twice. Will be our current game plan. And if they do something very big that goes over the top of our Force of Negation, we'll be able to activate looking for a trap. Flooded Strand. Opponent goes to 6 with the fetch. And we will fight this Time Walk. They force back, pitching a Dak Faden. Okay. And then I'm probably just going to give them a Force of Will in their upkeep. Okay. So I feel like they're dead on board. Giving them a force means I don't have to commit anything else to the board. And if they want to fight this, they do. They pitch Tinker. Wow. Are you sure you don't want a force of will? They concede. Nice. So we have a nice little tempo game where we win after giving them crap cards to draw. So sideboarding against generic red Tinker. I want to bring in a couple of... maybe I don't need to be bringing in the Furies when I'm on 2 snapbacks again. So let's bring in a snapback. I don't think a Caracas is ever a horrible idea. I think a Ghost Court is a good idea. Although actually against Dak Faden, I think I like Fury. So let's trim some Noxious on the assumption that they don't have many Wastelands. We can trim a red Root Waller. I think we'll trim one of these, and I'll get rid of the Caracas. I can't think of any legends that they're going to be playing in the Crixus deck. So, yeah, if we get to activate a Bazaar of Baghdad, it's going to be very good. If we don't get to activate Bazaar of Baghdad, then we're probably losing. So Black Lotus. Narset Parter of Veils. Okay then. Narset comes through. Finds a Time Walk. They've just got a Volcanic there. Okay. So what we're going to do... So they're going to land walk next turn. We're going to play Bazaar, and we're just going to push in now. Right, we're not going to give them the time, if that's what they want. We're going to make a 1-1, and we're going to make a 4-4, and then we're going to make a 4-4. And the hope is that they don't have Tabernacle in the next 2 turns. And if they do, then we lose, and that's how we're going to play this game. So Narset goes down to 1. And that finds our opponent a Yawgmoth Will. There's a Saga Time Walk. It's quite good. And then with a land drop they'll get another walk. But they won't get maximum Saga value. So maybe you just... Ponder. Chooses not to shuffle and then finds the Tabernacle. So that's very good for the opponent, but we still have a active Bazaar. I do want to pick that up. And we're just going to wasteland that Urza Saga before they go and get a needle with it. So they probe us. And I know I can activate there. But I'm hoping to draw a land at some point before I do much activating. Opponent's on 5 cards. Okay. Like the opponent's Yawgmoth Will seems lethal to me. So I do need to draw a land at some point so that I can keep this Root Waller in play long enough to attack the Narset. Lotus Petal. Cracks Lotus Petal. Cast a Yawgmoth Will. Okay. Black Lotus is fine. Lotus Petal is fine. Ponder. Probe me. Yeah, sure. I don't know how much further they want to take this at this point. Do you keep going? Apparently so. Okay, so they think they can get it all. Time Walk. And Time Walk I will trap. I'm going to start off by Vigoring this and this. Opponent has got 6 cards, which is quite a lot. Do I even want to trap this? What does Time Walk do? I guess I do trap it. Knock Sapphire is fine. I'm just going to pass the turn. And we continue waiting. So that's an exceptionally good draw. Okay, so our opponent casts a house. We try and force it. And if they counter back, we'll just concede. Yeah, because I can't cast this, can I? No. So that's the game. Let's go to game 3. We're on the play for game 3. We might have punted that one with the Tabernacle, I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm happy here. I think I like how our deck's configured. And then, yeah. I don't like how our deck's configured if we don't draw Bazaars, though. There's a Bazaar, there's a Chalice, Hollow One Powder, Squee. Beautiful. So Chalice on 0 is a really nice way to start a combo matchup, especially on the play. So let's see if we get any good discards, because it's basically always the 2 that we draw. So negation, Squee, strip or force. Oh god, that was too hard. I think it's got to be strip mine, unfortunately. Let's cast a hollow one. I don't like protecting hollow ones unless it's in like a real big moment spot where it's sort of like the last resource is being traded off. Here, I won't protect a hollow one. I'll just let them force it and then assume that the value I'm going to get off my Squee is going to be good enough over the coming turns. The opponent does force it, pitching Brainstorm. We'll cast a Chalice of the Void now. And that gets through. And this way we've also got the Force of Will, and we've likely got the Force of Will superiority when it comes to them casting a Needle or something on their turn 1. They do not, so we're just going to get our Squee and cruise on. Yeah, so we'll activate here and pass the turn and try and build up some blue cards. Urza Saga is a massive problem. So whilst there's a Saga in play, we'll continue sorcery speed activations, because that way we can dig for our wastelands and our wastelands will come in on time. That's why the force, the strip mine at the beginning was close, is because of Urza Saga, but I just didn't want to be uncontested in the early game sort of thing. So I'm going to discard a negation here and hold the lizard in the attempt to bring back a Vengevine in the future, or draw into a Force of Vigor next turn. I imagine that their game plan has now just turned into 100% this Saga. Our opponent's done a very good job at drawing actual factual lands these 2 games, haven't they? And they're going to get a Saga activation out of this. Another trap. Not the axis we're battling on at the moment. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it is indeed. Is this a Hole Breacher? Well, that's really good for us if we can, because we can just fight this quite comfortably. We'll pitch a trap. Like Wasteland or Vigor here is ridiculous. Oh yeah, pay me. So we are going to be exposed to Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. But whilst we've got 2 Squees and they don't have a Saga or a Saga token, we're in a fantastic spot sort of thing. 2 Squees, no pressure from the opponent now. Chalice locking out a lot of Yawgmoth's Will and Underworld Breach lines. Force of Will and Trap. So I don't really mind it's annoying, but I don't mind getting tabbed in this spot because I'll still be the one doing better. We force post-board tutors. Because post-board tutors are tabernacles. So we are still fighting it, but not excessively. I would accept if you want to tell me that that should have been a mental misstep or a mind break trap pitch there. So we'll discard the revival here. So we attack for 9 here, right? So any Force of Will, any fetch land means that we can Vengevine them through a Tabernacle. Time Walk works. So it's their last turn to come up with something good. And they do not. So a 4-1 for the home team there, just losing to the combo deck. Yeah, pretty good day out. Losing to combo, beating shops is just how we drew it up. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you think there's anything I was right or wrong about in your commenties. Take it easy.